Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Little by little, every day, the insidious, evil, and very stupid green movement is crawling into our lives. Be very aware and fight back against these leeches that are sucking the life out of America. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America on this Wednesday. Good morning, July 10th. Hello. And a big, big thank you to Kate Smith for starting things off for us this morning. And, of course, we're going to go right to the phone line in a moment. Stand by. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of safe driving tires. And don't forget, too, our advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Time for the pledge. Proudly said. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Keith. Kind of got lost there a little bit, but by golly, we appreciate the incentive to call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I won't be calling in this morning because I'm on my way for an 8:30 appointment with Matt Harrison Audiology.
All right. Well, listen, I think that's wonderful, and I appreciate you giving them that plug. Thank you, Keith. God bless you. Drive carefully. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Time for the weather. The weather. And it's brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway. And Roger and the crew get there early in the morning. 7 o'clock, they throw open the doors and say, hello, world. Come on in and get all the cool tools and equipment that you need to finish any kind of a project. For all your gardening tools and your lawn equipment, everything. I mean, they've got it all. Stop over, say hello, and if you're not sure what you need, call them and talk to them about it. 678-3122. K&R Rental. Here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast as we hit midweek, and it's going to be very warm as we make our way towards the weekend. Today we're looking at sunny skies, high of about 92. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, mid-90s, pretty much the same for Friday and for Saturday. Now, we could be hitting triple digits just depending upon where we're at in the valley. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Gina. And we'll talk about the warm weather here in just a moment. Stand by. But right now, I also want to remind you again about K&R Rental. 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn. You can't miss them. They're right there on the Burley Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. I want to take a moment here and also give a great big shout out and a thank you to my friends over at Ramsey Heating and Electric. I mean, man, they've been on this program virtually from the very get-go about 18, 20 years ago, and I really appreciate them. And they have all all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, all your air conditioning filters, everything, so that they can help keep you comfy. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and the number to call is 678-0459. Over 6 decades of service to you, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Zeb. The Burley Senior Center menu is birthday anniversary dinner today. That means we're having turkey and dressing and mashed taters and gravy, green beans, cranberry sauce, probably a salad, and yummy dessert. I haven't told me what that's going to be yet.
Well, Joe, you know, you've been on this program a lot of times talking about yummy desserts. Don't you think that pecan pie would be fitting for what you're eating?
That'd be super.
All right, well, go make one. I say go make one, buddy.
Only $5, and you call in, and they'll have it ready for you when you get there.
All right. Joe,
they serve from 12 to 1.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye.
Joe Taylor, thank you so much. There is a very, very nice man. Thank you very much. Wow, we've got a lot of things to talk about this morning, and first and foremost, I'm just going to get this off my chest right now, and if it offends somebody, so be it. I am not a fan of the United States Women's Championship Soccer Team. No. Am I proud of them? No. They did do an amazing accomplishment of winning the World Cup. There's nothing I can say that would ever denigrate that. They are and should be considered excellent athletes. But their attitude and their actions leave me very cold as an American citizen that loves this country. When Obama was in office, I did not like the man. I did not care for him to any degree. But had I been on a team, or had I been connected with something that would have caused or created an invitation to the White House, I would never have been as rude as these girls are and other prima donna athletes to basically denigrate the president and snub their nose at the president and say to the others like Chuck Schumer in the House and others in political power, oh, we'll come and we'll visit with you, but we don't want anything to do with the president. I have never seen in my lifetime a more disrespectful situation that is applied to this administration and this president, and every single American that stands behind the likes of Megan Rapinoe and others that have spoken out denigrating this president and this administration. We're not going to show up for that bum. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Why? We don't like him. You know, this is absolutely the end of the rope. We are falling into an evil, evil, sick abyss. And these girls are getting a ticker tape parade right now. And I, for one, will not salute them. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You can disagree with someone's politics, but when you lose respect for the office that they hold, you are completely wrong. And these girls are wrong. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Absolutely one of the most great menu choices to look at and order and enjoy. Nice people serving you. I mean, whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, whether it's dinner, anytime, all the time, stop in and enjoy. Whether it's salads or burgers or whether it might be the strawberry vanilla crepes. Oh, they're good for breakfast. You check it out at America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and their other location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Let me also, I had to change things yesterday at the spur of the moment because some things came up and I could not go over to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. So I just altered the appointment so that I can get back in tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley with Nick Greenwell and all the excellent, underline that word, physical therapists serving you. You're aching and paining, they want to make you feel better. Get you back to feeling like you. Stop in or give them a call, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. Give me a jingle. No, I cannot and I will not have anything good to say about this United States women's soccer team. I think what they did in winning was outstanding as a team. But as individuals, and also, quite frankly, as a team, they have snubbed this administration with complete disrespect. And I know many, many Americans from around the country, other radio talk show hosts, people involved in other occupations, that are sickened by what these girls, especially Megan Rapinoe, the team captain, have said and what they're doing. And I can't support them. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, a lot of you have called me or written me emails. What about the census question? Are you an American citizen? Well, I'm going to throw the question right back at you this morning. What is wrong? What is so terrible? What is so earth-shattering? What is so absolutely, like Nancy Pelosi and others say, racist? How about asking on a census, are you an American citizen? I hope they stick it in that little booklet 37 times. Are you an American citizen? Are you an American citizen? Are you an American citizen? I'll tell you what, I do not care if anybody's offended. We have every right to know the numbers of legitimate American citizens in this country. And for Nancy Pelosi to come out and say that the question is nothing more, and this really upset me yesterday, the question is nothing more than something connected to making America white again? That's a racist comment, and she should be put down for it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I agree. I think she's probably more prejudiced than almost anybody else in the world, because she is trying to hurt Trump in every way that she can. And I think Trump is doing great things, and he's proud of those kids that are over there representing us.
Well, he made an invitation. Originally, a couple of weeks ago, he said if they win, they'd be more than welcome to come to the White House and we'll have a celebratory type party, etc. And I don't think he did or said anything that was negative or wrong. But these people on the left, and I'll go to LeBron James in basketball and many others, they are, look at Colin Kaepernick, the problems that man has caused for the United States of America and the allegiance to our flag and our Constitution. I am sickened by these people getting interstate right and getting all the news and the media attention as if there's some kind of a folk hero. They're nothing but bums as far as I'm concerned.
I think they're even lower than that. But I think that this is kind of amazing that the people that are being so critical of our president, and it's really reflecting on our country, they have just been shot up to high positions, and they've they've been paid more money than you and I will ever have in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And yet they consider themselves so much better than us that they really can't hardly be amongst us, although they forget who's paying their bills.
That was very well stated, and it's not just athletes that fall into that category. Look at your actors. The most phony plastic people in the world are involved in Hollywood and the film industry, and them along with athletes that are nothing more than prima donnas that have been offered multi-million-dollar contracts to catch a ball, kick a ball, whatever, or throw a ball, and then all of a sudden, because they have these big million-dollar contracts, multi-million-dollar contracts, supposedly their IQ level goes up, but that's not really the case.
They don't even run on their IQ because they're like robots.
Yeah.
And you know what? America is great, and we are the greatest, and I'm glad to say that it is. But those people are putting a black eye on our country.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know, it wasn't that long ago I had a call and a guy criticized me for saying that I'm a nationalist. I am a nationalist. I don't support any other country as being better than us. I do not support any other country's whims or wishes. I think America's the greatest land ever underneath the power of God's creation, and I'm going to stand up and be proud to be a nationalist. And to heck, I cleaned it up a little bit, Chris, to heck with anybody that disagrees with me.
Well, and the sad thing is, we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. Even the poorest person in the United States is fortunate because we look out for our people. And you know what? We usually don't ask for anything back except for, please, take care of what we've given you.
Absolutely.
Don't throw it away. And the second thing is, the rest of the world would collapse if something happened to the United States.
I agree with you. The repercussions and the ramifications would be to the extreme. Chris, it's good to hear from you, and thank you for your kind comments. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Wheels, could we please, before we take another caller, have a good word for the Silver State Stampede?
Follow the crowd to family entertainment at its best. The 2019 Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 12, 13, and 14 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. Kicking off this fast-paced weekend is the annual Tri-Tip Dinner on Friday, along with mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the always popular Ring of Fear, and new this year, mini bull riding. The fun continues on Saturday and Sunday with more PRCA rodeo action, and you can dance the night away with the music of Moonshine Outlaws. Get your advance tickets today at Roy's, J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber of Commerce. Don't forget the best in the West is waiting for you at the Silver State Stampede, July 12, 13, and 14. For more information, visit us at silverstatestampede.com. Head to the Elko County Fairgrounds for the one, the only Silver State Stampede. Rope and ride on the wild side.
There you go. Thank you very much. And by the way, healthy animals are important for all of us. I mean, absolutely. If you're going to own them, keep them healthy. Whether you got itty-bitty kitty cats or whether you got a great big herd of dairy cattle, I know the people to call that can help you. They will help you and your animal's health. And that's Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. Absolutely. Dr. Bill and the Cruton, nice people. Really caring people. So there's a lot of things to watch out for this time of the year with all the flies and the ticks and everything else out there. Keep them healthy. If you're going to be an owner, keep them healthy and make sure you work with Ark Animal Hospital over in Hayburn. The number to call is 678-1177, where they do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I see nothing wrong with asking that question, are you an American citizen? And I absolutely am appalled at the left for stretching this thing to the extreme, saying, oh, that's racist. Or the only reason they're asking that question is because they want to make America white again? Come on, get off of it. The only racists with their stupid statements are the Democrats and the left. And it's beyond being pathetic. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear, I'll take this caller, and then I want to talk to you about straws. Yeah, I know, straws. Stand by. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, if it wasn't for the illegal aliens here, and I'm not going to call them immigrants or undocumented anything, they're illegal aliens. Without their being here and without their vote, the Democratic Party would have had one hell of a time getting very far.
Well, I'm afraid the incorporation of the illegal vote is going to be enormous if the Democrats assume or take over any more power in our government. Once that happens, Riley, you and I might as well take a slow boat to China because that's all that's left.
Well, I'll fight as long as I can to do what I can to keep America, keep the U.S. the United States of America. But that's what they're wanting, and it's been that way for a while. I'll give, free, and then when the vote comes around, and sure, everything's free, but somebody has to pay for it, and the people voting, they're either uneducated, and I keep bringing that up. A lot of people are so uneducated that vote for the Democratic Party, they don't understand that nothing in this world is free. Free just means someone else or is going to pay for it, or you're going to pay for it on the other end.
Yeah.
Somehow, somewhere, some way. It's got to be paid for. There is nothing absolutely totally free.
Well, this is where the American public, Riley, this is where the American public has become so blasé and naive, and really they've got their little tin cups out and they're saying, here, feed us, here, give us this, here, provide health care, here this, here that, we want this free. Instead of getting up off their fat little butts and going to work and being more responsible and paying their way.
You got that right. Just a quick thing that my boy and I were talking about yesterday, and he's 17, and we were talking about socialism altogether, and he was trying to explain to one of his friends who thinks it's the way to go is you live in a big, big house, and everybody lives there. Like 15 people live there, and everybody makes their paycheck, and they give it to the owner of that house. The owner of that house disperses it how he wants. Pretty soon, people realize I can get something without working, so why should I work? And
yep.
You're the only jack working.
Yeah, you got it, man. Hey, Riley, sharp man there. Thank you very much. Appreciate your call. Thank you. Good guy. Well, caller number 2, I'll be right there. Please have a little patience with me. I'm running a little bit late. I want to remind everybody about the Oakley Pioneer Days. Oh, my. It starts this week, as a matter of fact. July 12th, 13th, 15th, 16th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Whoa, are they going to have fun up there starting on this weekend, Friday and Saturday, with the 11th annual Bump and Rub Car Race? Oh, it's wild. It's really wild. And then all kinds of events through the days that I mentioned. I mean, including open rodeo and gymkhanas and basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments, Goose Creek Runoff, and the famous Oakley Pioneer Days Parade on the 20th with the theme, The Best Is Yet to Come. Wow, you be a part of it. Your Oakley Pioneer Days for 2019. Absolutely great family entertainment. Want to say also a big thank you to some of the Oakley merchants that are helping support Oakley Pioneer Days, and they include Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main Street in Oakley. What a great store, and nice people serving you with, of course, that world-famous breakfast sausage from Grandma's Recipe and bulk patties or links. It's good. They've been in business since 1924. Clark's for Shopping in Oakley, along with Oakley Valley Stone at 204 West Main Street in Oakley, and they want to wish everybody coming to Oakley a happy 132-year anniversary of the Oakley Pioneer Days. Absolutely nice folks at Oakley Valley Stone. And Searles at 120 North Center Street in Oakley. You talk about gas, grub, and goodies. They've got it all from 6 in the morning till 9 at night, and those specialty buns knock your boots off delicious at Searles, 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. You know, it's great that Oakley puts on this celebration every year. And one year I was out, went to the City of Rocks, and on my birthday, and I came into town, and they were having a parade in my honor. On my birthday, I thought that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a great parade. It really is, and they do a great job there. And you see these towns like Murtaugh, and drove through. I do business over in that area, and had some friends with me here recently, and we came through Murtaugh and went down to the cauldron or whatever it is down there, to see all the water that's coming through there right now because of the big snowpack. And, they were, I bet everybody in Murtaugh was out there at the ball field supporting their kids in the playing ball. It was just amazing. I mean, there were cars everywhere, and it's just great to see these small communities still having their traditions, and doing the things that they do. And anyway, the reason I called really, Zeb, was that I think the scariest thing about this next election is voter fraud, because the Democrats are working overtime to get as many people registered, legal or not legal, get some of the illegals, obviously, to vote as well. And in the battleground states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida, those would be the 5 big ones, I guess. And so, we know there's a lot of voter fraud. California, it's unbelievable amount of voter fraud, and been documented by Judicial Watch. But, and the Republican Party, what are they doing to really expose this?
Okay.
The party.
All right. Let me jump in a little bit with you, Adrian. Number one, when I'm critical of what the Democrats and the left are doing, I find it to be evil and insidious against us and America and our values. But on the other side of the aisle, the lack of doing anything and the cowardice that's shown by the Republicans is absolutely appalling. We, the constituents, are getting what we voted for. Right now, not much. And that is disgusting. As we look at going into next year's 2020 elections, I'd like to see a big broom and a mop and clean this mess up somehow.
Well, you got that right. We need to get rid of Simpson, but he gets all the money he wants from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce because they want cheap labor, and Simpson gets all the money he wants, and nobody even has the money to be able to try to run against him.
Yeah.
He's got the seat as long as he wants it because of the outside money. He don't get much money inside the state, but you're right. We've got all of these do-nothing Republicans or ones that are rhinos or neocons that aren't supporting Trump. Can you imagine what he could accomplish if the Republican Party really got behind him?
Well, there's so much that can be accomplished for the American public, and I've got to run and get another call and some other ads on, but you're 100% right. You've said for a long time that we need to clean up our act in America, and that's so true. And it starts at the ballot box, and then also it holds their feet to the fire so that they do what they say they're going to do. But we, the American people, have got to become much more vocal and demand they do the job.
Well, here's the bottom line. They take an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution, and they give it lip service, and then they throw the Constitution over and do whatever they want to, or whatever, put their finger up in the wind and whatever that happens, or what have you. But anyway, we need to be vigilant and hold their feet to the fire for sure. In the tradition of our founding fathers, now they're even covering over George Washington murals in San Francisco.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday on the program, and I find it absolutely despicable.
Out there, I think they keep it up.
Absolutely. Adrian, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this covering and erasing our history is just so sickening to me. By the way, on Mondays, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox. Great bakery. Wow, what a restaurant. You're going to love it. It's right on the square in Rupert, and we ask a question. You answer the question, you get cookies. Hey, this is quite a deal. All you got to do is just remember Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert, and I say that you'll never leave there hungry. It's true. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. My. All the equipment you need for the digging and the lifting and the pushing and the carrying and the leveling and the grading. They got it all. And if you're not sure how to run the equipment, not to worry. They've got, especially behind that Burley location, a great big old sandbox, and they'll teach you how to run the equipment. You'll be comfortable with it, and then you can get the job done. Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and, of course, the Nampa location with all the Bobcats and the Doosan loaders and excavators. Get in there today or give them a call. Berry Equipment and Rental. Really good people. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to say this morning, and I feel over the years and years that I've had many, many dedicated professional climatologists and meteorologists on my program. I am going to say this for the locals and others in the state and region and across the country, that you that phone's not supposed to go off right now. Sorry about that. You climate change addicts, you are so scary because of your lack of knowledge and common sense. Now, there are many, many knowledgeable people like Joe Bastardi. I'll just use that name for this morning. Joe Bastardi, a long-time meteorologist and weather scientist nationally, was on television last night, and I've had Joe on my program a couple of years ago, and I'm going to try to get him back on again in the next couple of months. He is very worried about how the left is absolutely perceiving this so-called climate change and green energy. And he's very worried that no matter what it is, maybe a thunder shower, or maybe a hurricane, or maybe a tornado, or maybe just high winds or whatever, everybody's going to say, aha, that's due to climate change. Well, it's not. It's not. From Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to Bernie Sanders, to right here locally, our world-renowned climatologist Jim Jones, that does not have any degrees in climatology or meteorology or anything else to be qualified to write some of the articles that he does. Every storm, every change in weather anywhere, they're going to go, yep, that's climate change. Well, it's not. I repeat myself again. Right now, due to the increased CO2 levels, our plant growth and the greening and healthiness of our planet is almost absolutely better than ever. Think about that. Think about that. CO2 levels increase the greenery and the growing. Now, if you want to really live yourself in a hell, try, humankind, to lower the temperature to the point where we're freezing to death and nothing grows. You start tinkering with the climate with your small little minds. Nobody really knows what they would do because what we're doing living on this planet is minuscule. It's all cyclical, but these people like Bernie and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's got a degree in bartending. She can make a whiskey sour, and Bernie, all he can do is not comb his hair. And they're telling us that within 12 years we're going to burn up. Charlatans, fakes, frauds, and just plain stupid people. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I will not back up on this. ever. I've had too many people that are so knowledgeable on my program, so knowledgeable, and understand really what is going on or not going on, that I will not listen to the likes of a 30-year-old retired bartender that's trying to be a congresswoman that's absolutely failing to the nth degree. Don't forget Jake Spaulding and the rest of the crew at Rain for Rent, 134 South, 600 West of Paul. Oh, they are good at what they do, helping you with all your irrigation needs. Now, I mention every day on the ad they're a Reinke Diamond dealer, and they know what they're doing. Platinum Plus certified pivot techs, and they've got the industry's longest warranty, and a very, underline this, dedicated sales and service staff to help you. All you need to do is just call them. Tell them. They'll be there to help you. You better believe it. 438-5065. That number again, 438-5065. Rain for Rent. 134 South, 600 West of Paul. You get a hold of them today. Oh, and by the way, before I take another call, I must have scared everybody off because I'm not going to weaken on what I said earlier. I want to remind you, too, homemade meals and housekeeping are provided for the folks at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living in Heyburn. You know, and if you need to go to a doctor or a dentist appointment or maybe go to a shopping appointment or whatever, they'll take you there. I mean, they are really, really congenial folks trying to help you just live a really good life at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Now, I'll tell you what, you need to call. You need to call Kelly or Matt at 650-4979. Now, I'm going to repeat that slower. 650-4979. And try to make an appointment and go in and see all the amenities for you at Greystone Crossing, Independent Senior Living in Heyburn. And make an appointment to go see them today. Right there on Alfresco Road, Greystone Crossing, Independent Senior Living. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call, please. I would love to hear what you have to say about some of the stories that we've talked about already this morning. And here again, this Cortez woman, she's like a burr under your saddle blanket. I mean, really a disgusting woman that is not very intelligent. She came out yesterday, and for those of you that heard it, fine. For those of you that didn't, listen to this. And she said that now she believes, and I couldn't really care less what she believes, but for some reason the Democrats are following her like rats to a cliff. She believes that the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement should all be banned. Think about that. Think about that. Where is the security for you and I? Which basically is taxpayers. That's what we're paying the national government for, our security. Now, this pathetic little bartender needs to understand much more of what's going on in this country and pay attention more to the people that pay the bills, us, the taxpayers. And she just absolutely should sit back and, as a congresswoman that represents her constituents out of New York State, she should try to be more educated than shooting her mouth off about the discontinuance of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and ICE. And let me throw another name into the mix here quickly this morning of another woman that I think should absolutely not be involved in our politics. No. I hope she loses the next election and she's gone. And that's Ilhan Omar, the Muslim woman that absolutely came here from Africa, coming here saved her life, coming here made her life, And she was brought to the greatest country in the world and given all the social amenities to grow and prosper and then go on to be a congresswoman. And then she comes out and says America is a vile, evil country that's racist, unjust, and cruel. I don't want her representing anybody in Congress. I don't want her voting yay or nay on anything that affects us in America. I find her despicable. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Whew, I feel better now that I got off my chest. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and these doctors of audiology really, really care. Yes, they do, and they can help you. If you're noticing a diminishment in your hearing, I urge you to call and make an appointment with Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, and Dr. Hunsaker, and it's easy. All you have to do is call 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast as we hit midweek, and it's going to be very warm as we make our way towards the weekend. Today we're looking at sunny skies, high of about 92. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, mid-90s, pretty much the same for Friday and for Saturday. Now, we could be hitting triple digits just depending upon where we're at in the valley. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow, short and sweet. Thank you, Gina. Appreciate it. And, of course, the weather brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And, again, I urge you, they help me, they can help you. Call the number, make an appointment, 312-0957. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Doggone it, I really predicted the All-Star game wrong last night. Yeah, I know. Pile on. Zeb, the American League beat you again. Yeah, I'm a National League Baseball fan, and the American League did it again last night. They have now won 7 straight All-Star games. They won 4-3. I don't know what's the matter with the National League. Anyway, let's see what else have we got here. Did you hear? Little by little, like I said a little bit ago, I love that word little, we are being encroached upon and taken over by the concepts of green energy. I cannot stand to see those wind turbines. Every time I drive to Boise, it just sickens me how they have been a plague on the landscape. It sickens me to see all those solar panels. And now, France, you got to hear this. France, because of the Paris Accord and everything else, they are going to start imposing an eco-tax on every single plane ticket that's sold on one of their French airlines. So if you want to buy a ticket to go from point A to point B on a French airline, you've got to pay an eco-tax because by you trying to do business, trying to go someplace as a tourist, a vacation or whatever, you've got to pay an eco-tax. How much you want to bet? That this same stupidity, to some degree, or many degrees, is going to start here in this country. I envision a time, maybe not within my lifetime, but, I'm an old man. But I envision a time to where they're going to say to the American public, oh, you want to take a vacation? Oh, you want to go from Twin Falls, Idaho down to Disneyland? Okay, well, let's just see. We'll figure up the mileage, and let's just say round trip, and then with additional miles while you're there and everything, you're looking at a 2,000-mile trip. Let's just put it in round figures. Well, you have to file for a permit to go on a vacation, and then you have to pay over and above your charges, extreme charges, for the fuel, etc. You have to pay an eco-tax. I honestly believe that the left and the Democrats are going to start riding that horse. They're going to probably not just come out and say it's a carbon tax, but they're going to start saying, well, if you want to leave, we're going to meter the miles on your car and your pickup, and if you want to have a permit to go on a vacation, we're going to charge an eco tax. Now, you can go ahead and say, whoa, Zebra, you're acting like George Orwell from 1984, the book. But I think it's going to get worse than that. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I must have scared everybody off this morning. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. My, they've got all the tires you need for safe driving. And some of the tires right now, like the Backcountry MT, the Backcountry AT, and the Road Control tire, you get an instant rebate. Whoa, on a set of 4 tires, you better get in there and check it out today. Save money and drive carefully. And along with that, the best in brake service and front end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. But you know, when you start talking about the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, you're talking about the best in service. They really care. And they're right out there to make sure that you're back on the road again. Yep, just like that. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. Yep, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, absolutely the best. Got time for a couple of calls. Come on, dial the number, be a part of the program. Love to have you. Oh, by the way, did you hear that in California, the Dixie, D-I-X-I-E, school district is going to change its name? Well, certainly you can understand that Dixie is racist. So they're going to change their name. I just, there's no end to things to almost sit down and shake your head about every day. The stupidity and the political correctness is just absolutely swimming in a cesspool. Now they're saying that the word Dixie, you got to take it away. I wonder what's going to happen in St. George, Utah. They've got the Dixie Roundup. Everything is Dixie, Dixie, Dixie. Are they going to come into that town and try to purge everything? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Zeb. I'm sorry. I had a call coming through, and it just barely started. I'm sorry. You know, when people don't realize what's going to happen, and they are uninformed, and they think it doesn't matter, and the direction of our country is being directed by the politicians, and we call it on the radio. We might call our senator and congressman, but ultimately the ultimate test is whether or not they're reelected. And Ocasio-Cortez was elected in New York. We have Simpson. And he's just getting more and more left. And we just keep allowing him to get reelected. And, you know, I don't know if there's any stopping him. I don't know. It's just like I was telling you yesterday about Idaho Power. And
wait, whoa, stop just a minute. Because that's a subject that I want to really put out in the forefront. I am doing some investigation, thanks to you, Randy, and your call yesterday, on the potential changes. Let's leave it at that and leave it vague until we get absolute proof. The potential changes in power generation for Idaho Power. And I am making calls today to various individuals involved that might have some more information, and we're going to start putting this together for a segment on my show. But I, for one, and let's leave it at that, very vague right now until we get the proof. I, for one, am absolutely appalled that we're catering to and leaning forward with green energy thoughts and concepts that are going to cost you, Randy, and me, Zeb, a whole bunch of money out of our billfold.
Well, the environmentalists are in everything. They are influencing everybody. And the insanity of it is so unbelievable. And it's in Idaho. It's in Boise. They're up there lobbying with Little and whoever else. And I'm telling you, I keep saying it, man. Idaho might be the last normal place on earth. And I tell you what, we cannot allow us to become Oregon, Washington, or California. It's just not something that can happen.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Randy. I've got to run to the news. You can see on your wristwatch I'm out of time, but I thank you for all your help and your input. And as we move forward on this issue, I know that you're going to be one of the first ones I call and let you know what's going on. Thank you so much.
Well, I got something to tell you when I'll call you after the show.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Got to take a little break, and we'll be gone for about 7 minutes. Everybody can take a deep breath and say, whoa, okay. And I'll be back in 7. Have a good one. Oh, good morning on a Wednesday, July the 10th already. Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And of course, don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's have this good word for our friends at Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, I tell you what, they've got all the dumpsters in various sizes, itty-bitty, medium, big, and I need one humongous. I am absolutely committed. The first kind of weather forecast that says we're going to have like 2 or 3 days of rain, I'm staying here in the office cleaning it up. It may take more than one big dumpster. Anyway, they've got all the dumpsters. They've got everything. They're always at your disposal, Western Waste Services. Please give them a call. Get on the route service. They can pick up your garbage at 734-6969. Western Waste Service. Absolutely the best. Wheels, could we please have a good word for the Silver State Stampede?
Thunder of hooves, the thrill of an 8-second ride. All the fun of PRCA rodeo action is at your fingertips July 12, 13, and 14 when the 2019 Silver State Stampede makes its way to the Elko County Fairgrounds. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders, mini bull riders, Old West bronc riding, mutton busting, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Family Day on Sunday and the dancing to the music of Moonshine Outlaws. Show your support on Saturday night with Tough Enough to Wear Pink. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 p.m. and on Sunday gates open at 12 noon. Advance tickets on sale now at JM Capriola's, Roy's, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber of Commerce office. Family entertainment at its very best. The 2019 Silver State Stampede, open ride on the wild side.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a great event. You better get on down to Elko and really enjoy. Hey, don't forget to our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. Always taking care of you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. They always serve you with the best possible support and comfort, and always with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Please write the number down, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Holy cow, we've had this man waiting, chomping on the bit for the last couple of minutes. My dear friend back in Indianapolis, Indiana. Here he is, enter stage left. Everybody strike up the band. Good morning, Dave Bigo.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning? I'm glad I can be back on. I'm still not 100%, but I'm getting close.
You know, you sounded like death warmed over a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I just, I had a very bad head cold, and that was combined with a bad sinus infection, and the two of them, even my doctor, he said he had it, and it took him 3 weeks to get better. I'm getting towards the end of my third week now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's nice to have you back on the program again. And I want to start this off this morning, and I don't mean to, if I upset you or lessen your opinion of me, I'm going to say so be it, because I'm going to say how I feel. That's how I treat this program. And I, for one, am not proud of the U.S. women's soccer team. I am not proud of the way they've conducted themselves after a great championship victory. I will allow that. But I don't like anybody denigrating the office of the presidency in this administration and saying yes to going and meeting with members of the House under Chuck Schumer. And like I said a moment ago, disrespecting the office of the presidency. To me, that is something I can't excuse them for. What are your thoughts?
Well, Zeb, it's sad that these things are going on, and unfortunately, as I've mentioned many times, these people are being brainwashed behind the scenes by the far left, and, whether it's the union people, it's kind of like Colin Kaepernick, he started that whole thing about kneeling for the American flag, because the unions were behind him doing that stuff, and, this is the thing that's going on, and we got to get America to wake up and understand what's going on, because these people fundamentally want to change America.
Okay, but Dave, I don't mean to take the whip and try to beat a dead horse into getting up and galloping off, but how? I mean, I sit here on this program, and every day I see worse scenarios being caused by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, the left in general, and then these soccer girls that were afforded every opportunity to represent their country and come home. And I don't care what their personal political venues are, but do you respect a invitation to the White House? And yet they snubbed their nose and turned it into a polarizing political event. I have no respect for them.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and but you just got to understand, Zeb. And as I said many times too, I've been through this in fighting the SEIU, and who are communist, and because I wrote a blog on that about a month after my last book came out, and they march in the streets every year at the Communist Party, and you see who at the July 4th celebration that Trump put on afterwards, you had communists burning the American flag. And these people fundamentally, they know how to get into people's minds. They need to go to these people and say, oh, you're great, but, the White House doesn't like you, and they want to bring down and stop what you're doing. They don't want to give equality for women and all that kind. And that's what this stuff is all about. And this is what they do. And unfortunately, these ladies and other people listen to them. And it's time that America wakes up and steps back and understands that we're the greatest country in the world, in the history of the world, because of our society, our free market society and capitalism and the things that we provide opportunity for everybody. And they don't get what it would be like if we dropped back into a socialistic, communistic country.
Again, on another subject, but you just touched on it briefly a moment ago, I will not back up. I will go nose to nose with anybody that says anything so stupidly frivolous that the Washington, D.C. Independence Day celebration was out of line. I thought it was absolutely first class. And I'm not ashamed to admit, and I said this earlier on the program this week, that when they played the Navy anthem, the Air Force anthem, Marine and Army anthem with the flyovers, and then, of course, concluding with the Blue Angels and the Battle Hymn of the Republic, I cried. I cried in pride for patriotism for this country, and to the loon left, I pity them.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I thought it was great. I thought he did a great job, and I love the fact that he honored our military, all the branches, and in this country, and he didn't get into any politics on the thing and everything. But again, you got these people, and Zeb, we're looking at the election in 2020, and they're going to do everything they can to bring him down. And we're going to see more and more of this stuff as we progress into the election next year.
Okay, more and more of this stuff. Those are the words you just used. But why? Why is the American public so gullible and naive as to accept this trash?
Because there's so many of them out there that when these people are going out and say, and then they talk about the socialism stuff and social justice and all that, and say, we're going to give you this, and we're going to give you this because you deserve this, and we're going to make sure that, you make more money, and we're going to do this for you, and all this kind of stuff. These people go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'd like to have that. And that's what this is all about, because these people know a lot of these people won't step back and do the research they need to do to see that these people aren't being honest with them.
Everybody that I've talked to, and I travel a lot, probably more so than most people, and I have yet, in the different venues that I've been at over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month, I have yet to find one single person that has the backbone or the spine to stand up and say, well, yeah, I'm a proud green energy supporter. Well, yeah, I'm a proud supporter of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, yeah, I hate Trump, whatever. I can't find these people. What do they do, crawl under their rocks at night and sleep until sunup?
Yeah, they don't want to be put on the front lines on this kind of stuff. They just they've got what they believe in, what they want to do, and they're not going to step up because they don't want to be under attack.
Did you hear, I hope you did, because I'm going to bring it up, did you hear about what happened in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, where the town council voting 5-0 to stop the Pledge of Allegiance because it was too time-consuming and it might have been too divisive? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that. That's sad. But, again, you're talking about one of those really radical left areas, and, they're going to come to play on this stuff. And at the end of the day, Zeb, they want to bring down this great country.
Well, we have a caller with a question for you, but I want to get back into that in just a moment. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Zeb, I know this might draw some criticism, but I've been looking at you're talking about green energy. I've been looking at house just to offset the cost or try to supplement some power coming from Idaho Power, because their rates are getting out of control way out there, and they're trying to go 100% renewable, so-called renewable energy by, I think, 2025. What are the thoughts on that deal? I'll let you go.
Dave, go ahead and respond to the caller, and we'll talk more about this complete buffoonery that's going on. Go ahead.
Well, this all goes back to the climate change issue and stuff like that. And, climate change, we've had ups and downs for centuries, and as long as the world's been here. And even before man was doing a lot of energy production, whether it's coal or whatever it may be. And, the small percentage of carbon increase that they're talking about that contributes to, we're going into climate change and into a really hot period right now. To me, it doesn't make sense at all that it's due to man. What it's due is we are on Earth. It does change, and it will continue to change over the years, whether man's here or not. But we've got these people out there that are using this to go out and, buffalo people and brainwash them and get them on their side. And what it does is, they got companies that are doing this stuff. And at the end of the day, what it really does is it hurts the people, at all levels, because now they're paying more money for energy, and it's costing jobs and everything like that. And it's time for America to wake up to what's the left is all about.
Well, right now, and this is where I have nothing respectful to say about these people. We have some of these loons that live right here in our area and write op-eds for the local rag, and they have no understanding about science whatsoever. They just tout the same verbiage that you hear every night with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Kamala Harris or whatever. I mean, I wish they'd start studying and writing their own book because they're following the other script way too many times. Right now, due to increased CO2 levels in this country and for the world, it's healthier because there's more growing and greening of plants and other things needed to grow on the planet. It's healthier. What do you think's going to grow in colder temperatures, and how is people's health going to be affected by colder temperatures? All negatively, and these people aren't smart enough to understand that.
Well, I know that, and and people don't understand the basic thing that trees and plants and everything, a little more CO2.
That's right.
Them grow because they absorb and use that to grow with, and it's time for people to wake up. But let's go back to one of the things. Over the last 40, 50 years, our education system's been controlled by the left. Through professors and teachers and stuff like this, and they've been not teaching people the things they need to teach them, and teach them things they want them to know, so that they're on their side. And,
that's true.
Millennials are a good indication of that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And, this thing has even gotten to the point now where they're forcing. You know this. It's happening in Indiana. It's happening here in Idaho. It's happening all over. They're forcing, due to the green movement, people to accept and pay for the green movement. Look at what happened over in France in the last couple of days. All the French airlines, and I want you to respond quickly and then we'll take this call. All the French airlines are going to start charging an eco-tax for you, the plane passenger, to pay for your damage to the environment. This is ludicrous.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And but again, they've gotten into these people's heads, and they've if you go back in history, after the World Wars and that, and the War of the Soviet Union, they believe they can't take down America militarily, so they're going to do it from within.
Yeah.
The path we're on.
We have a caller with a question, Dave. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
It always comes back down to who's listening to Ocasio-Cortez. She makes no sense whatsoever, but she is now the oracle. And she is, whatever she says, is always front and center. And everybody hears it. When you're a young child, you have your phone, and say, for instance, you get your news update. It just comes up on your phone. And across this nation, there are young people who are being misled, deceived, and they believe it. And and it's just frightening. And you say, do they believe and the parents don't know any better. The parents might be as stupid and uninformed as the children. And you see, you can't make a decision on misinformation and wrong information. But our society is full of lies, and we're lied to every day, and our children are being indoctrinated and lied to, and I don't know where the hell it ends. I'll hang up.
Go ahead and respond to the caller, Dave, please.
Well, yeah, and he's saying things that I've talked about for a long time, and behind the scenes, though, the media is controlled by the left, and and like I say, the education system and that, it's time to wake up, Americans to wake up, and I see some of the Democratic Party, they're tired of the far left, and they're moving back to the center, and I think that could help in this election. And if we get back the power that we need, it's time for the Republicans to have some backbone and stop this stuff from going on out there. But, I found it interesting. I don't know if you saw in the Wall Street Journal the other day, they had an article out that Pelosi actually came out and said that the liberal freshmen have few followers on the Hill. She's talking about, AOC and Omar and Presley and Bob and a bunch of them. And that's good to hear that even she's starting to speak up. These people are saying things, and they don't have followers that they with all the stuff they're putting out there.
You mentioned Omar, Ilhan Omar. And that is, and for those that are offended by this, that's your problem, not mine. Ilhan Omar is one of the most despicable, low-life characters to be elected into our Congress. Here is a woman that was brought to this country, and it basically saved her life coming out of Africa and coming to this country. And she was afforded and given everything, great education, a great home life, everything. Went on to get her education and get into politics, and now a congresswoman. And then she turns around and she calls America absolutely cruel, unjust, and uncivilized and racist. This is biting the hand that has fed you, and I find this woman, along with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, despicable.
Well, Zeb, but you say the biting the hand that feeds you, but the hands that fed them to get into office were the left and the unions and that. It's like Kamala Harris. She was supported by the SEIU out in California, and I believe AOC was supported by the SEIU in New York. And they're getting this money, and behind the scenes, the unions and the far left are telling them what they got to get up there and say. And they're going to say it because these people helped them get in office, so they have a job and are making some more money.
I've never really put you on the spot like this, but I'm going to right now this morning on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 to 10 scale. How concerned are you as of today with the loony left and everything they're coming out and spewing? How concerned are you on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being not very concerned, 10 being very worried, about 2020 and what might happen to America?
I'm not overly concerned now. I think that people are waking up, and I think we're seeing things, in the Democratic Party that people are waking up. But it's a matter of them standing up and doing the right things, and I still think we've got a good chance in 2020. I think, we're up in the 2 range somewhere in there. But it's going to get uglier, Zeb. We're going to have more to talk about here as we lead up to the 2020 election.
No, but wouldn't you agree, though?
One thing that I like to see happening, and Trump is pushing it, and Barr is pushing it now, is a 2020 census. And, we need to do that.
Absolutely. Are you an American citizen? Yes or no? Absolutely. But Dave, I think to go along with your statement, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I think that we have become complacent. I think we've become very naive, and that attitude has got to change. We've got to be very aware and cognizant of what the evil in our society is trying to do.
Well, I agree with you, and we just need to keep out there and opening people's eyes and getting them to understand what's going on. And, you do it on your show, and other people do it, and we just need to keep doing it. And I think we can get the job done.
On a lighter note, I'm very discouraged this morning. The American League beat my National League last night again for the 7th straight year. I'm starting to be depressed.
Well, sorry to hear that, but maybe you'll join the other side.
Not anyway going to happen, Bigo. Once I'm committed, we go to the nth degree to support them. My National League in the All-Star game, I thought sure last night was going to be the night, but it wasn't. Listen, man, I appreciate you coming on the program. You're a very well-respected businessman, author, and entrepreneur. Dave Bigo in Indianapolis, Indiana, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Zeb, and sorry I couldn't be on for a couple of weeks, but I was really feeling bad.
Well, you should have called me. I had some adult remedies to your perceived maladies.
You should have just emailed it to me.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. See you next week. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Dave Bigo, good friend, great friend, back in Indianapolis, Indiana. I want to remind you about Dino's Septic Service. You don't want to think about septic problems. You don't want to walk outside and go, boo! What is that smell? Well, your septic tank needs pumping. Or you've got problems and sewer and sink drain lines need cleaning. Well, you need to have somebody to rely on, and they will come and do the job for you. I'm talking about Dino's Septic Service, and they've expanded their business bigger and better to serve more people, and I urge you to call the number. Dino's Septic Service. Good, really good people that care about serving you. 437 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. I'm talking about fast, fare, friendly service, and they've done some work for us, and I mean, they pull in the yard with that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. They're the best at what they do. Dino Septic Service, you get a hold of them today. By the way, it's going to be hot. Sure, that's summer. Okay, not earth-shattering news. And I urge you to get outside and enjoy. Now, what are you going to do? How about a side-by-side? How about a four-wheeler? How about a watercraft for the lakes and the rivers and the streams? Oh, so you want to learn more about Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 to 4. They've got everything. And when I use that word on everything, I'm not exaggerating. I still do not know how they got everything on that showroom floor. Stop over, you'll see what I mean. Let's Ride. Also, all the accessories and a great service department to keep you running. Number to call, 436-4771. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And it's true, this is where the fun is sold. Really good people. Let me see quickly. I've got one other ad, and then we're going to go right to our guest. I don't want to keep our guest waiting. I want to remind everybody about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, Jeff. Jeff's going to be on our program tomorrow as our business salute. Well, by golly, you better turn the key in the ignition and head over to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Wow. Summer clearance on mattresses and recliners. What a selection. And a lot of the floor coverings and a closeout on some of the carpets. Whoa, beautification and comfortization of your home at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Don't put it off. No, you get in there today and let them help you at 459 Overland in Burley. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line to a gentleman that I have not had on my program in the past, and I want to find out and learn more about him. I say good morning to Walter Hoy II. How are you?
Zeb, I'm fine. How you doing?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes.
Good to hear from you.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, Walter. I mean, I understand you're the founder and president of Issues for Life Foundation. What does that mean?
Well, the foundation's entire mission is to work with black leadership and strengthen their stand against abortion. And oh my goodness, the Lord has blessed us tremendously.
You know, Walter, I am so adamantly opposed to abortion. People are using it as a sleazy kind of birth control and an easy way out. And you're looking at it on a more comprehensive viewpoint that it could be a complete eradication of your race.
Oh, absolutely. When you look at the data, you realize that abortion all by itself takes more lives than heart disease, cancer, and stroke combined. I mean, Zeb, let me go one step further. If you look at all 13 leading causes of death in my community, all 13 of them, abortion is 109% more than all 13 leading causes of death in my community.
Wow. Okay, Walter, why? Why is this happening, and why has it grown to these epic proportions?
Unfortunately, we believe the abortion industry's, propaganda. We're using their talking points to sleep at night. And when you understand the reasons why black leadership rejects the pro-life movement, only then will you be able to actually put together a strategy that has any hope of all of reaching black leadership with your message. And because we do, I mean, Zeb, I'm licensed, ordained, I'm part of the group, I'm in the club, and I've always known why we didn't like the pro-life movement and just rejected it entirely. But one day, when God touched my heart and I understood what abortion was, then I began to understand how I could use those 4 reasons to be effective in what we do, and we're really good at it.
I don't care the color of a person's skin. I don't care anything about their family background. I don't care anything about their education, whatever. All I care about is that we're taking and killing babies. And with the left wanting to even have abortion allowed right up to the end of the term while they're laying on the gurney, I find this as one of the biggest chasms or abysses that this society is going to fall into that we can never get out of. Do you think I'm radical on what I just said?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, I want to agree with you. There's just no way we can support the left or the Democrat Party because of their stand on abortion. Let me just give you just a little bit. If I use the abortion industry's data, I use the Alan Guttmacher Institute. Alan Guttmacher used to be the president of Planned Parenthood. I'll use their data, abortion industry data, the data they're willing to admit to. We're 28% of all abortions in the United States of America, and we're talking about black America. But hey, wait a minute. We're only 13, 14% tops of the population here in the country, and we're yet 28% of all abortions. And wait, I'm not done, Zeb. Half of us are women, so now we're looking at about 6 or 7% responsible for 28% of all abortions in the country. Zeb, I'm still not done yet. If you consider childbearing age from 15 to 44, now that number drops down to about 3%. Responsible for 28% of all abortions in the country. It is a Holocaust. It is a genocide in my community. It is the number one cause of death. And so it's time for us to wake up.
Okay.
Realize exactly what abortion is.
Okay, Walter, and I do not mean to sound like I'm trying to pin you up against the wall, but I guess the obvious question is, how are we going to get this done so that this insidious killing of our young is stopped? What are we going to do? What are we got to change?
Oh, the check is in the mail, Zeb. This is a great question for me. History for Life Foundation has the number one program for black leadership. We literally take pastors to a secret location. We have them for 4 days. See, Al, Zeb, you can't talk to them in their office. You're going to go so far. You can't talk to them, in the city because, they're popular pastors. Everyone in the city knows them. The waiter may be a member of their church. We take them away outside of all of that, pastor and wife. The wife can't come, he can't come. And we pour in for 4 days. I'm telling you, our program works. We had one pastor stand up and confess his sin for the first time in front of his wife. This is how anointed the program was and how God used the program to touch his heart and move him from A to B.
Walter, I'm going to say this, and again, you as an ordained minister, please feel free to criticize me. I'm a big guy. I got big shoulders. I can take it. But for the last 4 months on this program, I have issued a challenge to members of the ministerial associations in my area to come on the program and talk about issues that need to be addressed and talked about from the pulpits, whether it's abortion, whether it's the transgender and gay and lesbian issues, whatever the case might be that's affecting and infecting our communities. And you realize that only one pastor had the nerve to come on this program and talk to me. Why? Why are pastors kind of putting their tail between their legs and running away from what they should be doing?
There are 4 specific reasons why black leadership rejects the pro-life movement, why this is the most controversial subject, particularly in the black church. I'll talk about one. The number one reason is that black leadership is post-abortive. And what I mean by that, there's an abortion in his life somewhere. It's mother, it could be his wife, it could be his son, it could be his daughter. He's a black pastor in the black church. The entire church is post-abortive. He is sleeping at night because he's embracing Planned Parenthood's talking points. And so when you ask him to come up and start talking about it, you've got to understand the ramifications of that and realize that he hasn't found forgiveness in his life yet for what he has done. He's just not going to do that. And so you got to have a strategy to reach him. So when you understand those 4 reasons, you can then be able to put together a program that'll be much more effective in reaching black leadership.
But wouldn't you agree, though, whether it's black leadership or whether it's white leadership, brown leadership, I don't care what it is, color of skin, wouldn't you agree with me, Walter, that pastors in general, they can do so much right now to help stimulate a reinvigoration of values in our society by addressing these?
Zeb, you and I are on the same page. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Yes, yes, yes. Pastors are the answer. If we were standing up boldly in the pulpit, just preaching the Word of God. I mean, we have a late-term abortion in Exodus chapter 1. If we just preached that, and we saw what God did, and we saw how God felt about it, oh my goodness, it would be absolutely clear what our position should be on this issue.
Walter, don't you think, too, and I'm not trying to just pander to you and I agreeing, but I'm so glad that we're on the same page, but don't you think that we're on a scale of 1 to 10 of going into, like I said, the sewer in this country, because our moral values and family values are being so diminished? I use the phrase many times on my program that we need to get back to kind of the concept of what used to be on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post magazine. Families going to church together, families sitting down at the table together. We've got to reinvigorate that, or we're going to go, pardon the expression, we're going to go to hell.
There's no question about that, Zeb. We've got to get back to family values. We've got to get back to the biblical model for family. What does the Bible say a man ought to do? What does the Bible say a woman ought to do? What does the Bible say about a husband and wife and a family? And it's very clear. And so if we were to embrace biblical models, we would then receive the blessing from on high. But because we don't,
absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you, though, it's not just abortion. And I know, Walter, you've probably thought about this. It's not just the abortion issue and the taking of infant lives, infanticide. It's also on the other end of the scale. We, as Americans, have lost respect for the elderly to the point where we're almost promoting a hemlock society. Just die, get out of the way type attitude. And boy, a society that embraces infanticide and the hemlock society to the elderly, that's a sign that we're going to heck in a hurry.
There's no question about that. If you look across the country, no matter what state you're in, you can see this downward spiral that we're knee-deep in. And we're just going to have to become bolder as Christians, stand in the public square, promote Christ publicly, and let God's victory lead us all the way home.
I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but sometimes you have to. I listened and took notes on both of the so-called Democratic presidential debates, the first two, and I got to be honest with you, Walter, I'm scared. I'm worried that if any one of those people assumes the Oval Office as president, Katie, bar the door. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you what's going to happen. We're looking at the worst period America has ever seen. There is no way a Democrat can be elected president. We have got to get behind President Trump. We've got to get behind his program. President Trump is the most pro-life president I think we've ever had. And so there's just no way, Zeb, that we can have a Democrat for president.
You know, Walter, I hope that you will hang up the phone and say, when he calls, I'll come back on his program, because I found you to be very informative, a very nice man, and I want to wish you God's blessings, and I hope you'll come back and talk to us in the future.
Zeb, I will. You've been awesome to work with, and so we can work something out.
I hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, the man's name is Walter B. Hoy II, and he's with Issues for Life Foundation, and I have the utmost respect for him and his thoughts. Thank you, Walter. God bless you. Have a wonderful summer.
You take care. God bless you.
All right, thank you. Nice man, and I'm so glad I had him on my program. Thank you very much. Holy cow, I've got to get a weather forecast on here. And then, come on, folks, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call, and we'll talk about any number of things that are in the news. There's never a loss to talk about certain issues. Right now, the weather is brought to you by our friends, and they are our friends, at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. I know Leiden's got his radio on right now. Hello, Leiden, how you doing? He had to turn it down a little bit too loud. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years, serving you, your family, and your business with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. The list goes on and on and on. If you're involved in agriculture, manufacturing, food production, construction, whatever your business, they can and will help you. Offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast as we hit midweek, and it's going to be very warm as we make our way towards the weekend. Today we're looking at sunny skies, high of about 92. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, mid-90s, pretty much the same for Friday and for Saturday. Now, we could be hitting triple digits just depending upon where we're at in the valley. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch.
I tell you what, thank you, Gina. And, of course, the weather brought to you by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, serving you, as I said, with offices in Burley and Rupert. They are providing the best of accounting services to you. Stop in, give them a call, make an appointment. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. All right, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you this. There's no end to lying and deceiving. No end. The Democrats used a photo. Listen to this carefully. They used a photo from the Obama administration to promote the investigation into what was called inhumane treatment at the border. Now, in case you didn't understand all that, let me kind of go in depth a little bit. House Democrats tweeted a photo from President Barack Obama's administration to promote their investigation into inhumane treatment at the border before deleting the tweet on Tuesday. In other words, they used a photo from Obama's administration to make Trump look bad. It wasn't even Trump's administration or a picture from his administration. It was from Obama's. The picture included in the tweet of children in cages was from the Obama administration, and they used it against Donald Trump in the last couple of weeks. You know, this whole thing could absolutely be taken care of in just a matter of hours. And after deleting this tweet and this picture, the Oversight Committee put up a second tweet with a different photo. There's a problem here. You know what the problem is? The second photo that they used was also from the Obama administration. And so they decided at that time it was a good time to get out of Dodge City, and both tweets were deleted. The liars, the frauds, and the charlatans that are involved in politics on both sides of the aisle. Like I said earlier, we need a big mop and a broom. We've got to clean up house. Calls welcome. Come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call if you would, please. Love to hear from you. When you think about life insurance and health insurance and retirement planning and employee benefits and everything like that, you should always remember that you can call Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Make an appointment, and they can help you. Very dedicated dedicated and responsive to your needs, very accessible. Please write this number down and give them a call, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Holy smokes, come on, it's easy, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. There is a article out, and I'm trying to remember, my mind all of a sudden just had a closed-door policy. I'm trying to remember the publication that it was in yesterday. I want to say the Washington Examiner, but I could be wrong on that, so please don't quote me on this. But the author of this article, this op-ed piece in the Washington Examiner, said that all air conditioning should be banned. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you talk about hospitals. Let's talk about hospitals. Air conditioning banned? Oh my goodness, the comfort of the patients and the staff and the enormity of how the uncomfort level would be, like also in offices, schools, etc. Towns like Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, Florida, New Orleans, Louisiana. And this person that wrote this said, all air conditioning should be banned on behalf of the green movement. These people are nuts. These people are trying to gain traction. And they're trying to take over your life and destroy it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell. You know what? To that I say not only no, but H-E-double-L, no.
Oh, my goodness, I'm so in shock.
Summer times for me is horrible. I have to stay inside. If it gets above 70 degrees, I'm inside with my heat pump air conditioner going.
And you, as an American citizen, have every right to your comforts that you pay for, and I will not be dictated to. I, for one, I like warm weather. You don't, I do. That's the difference, and a good, varied opinion of people that want things a different way. I like warm weather. I like today's weather where they're saying it might get up in the 90s. But, if I were laying in a hospital bed, or if I were working in a great big office building, where outside it's 95 degrees plus 90% humidity, and inside it's even worse than that, I pity those people because it would be unbearable.
Oh, yeah. People, I get physically sick. If I get really too hot, I get physically sick. I've been that way my whole life. And, a lot of people don't understand because it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody telling me that I can't have what I pay for. I don't see any of these government or EPA guys or any of these tree huggers, out paying for my stuff. I've worked for what I have, and I'll be dadgummed if somebody's going to tell me I can't have it.
Well, the thing is, you and I, we don't want to be regulated. We don't want to be told what to do, what to have, what not to use, etc. in a free society. And I absolutely think that we've lost our value as speaking out as Americans and telling these politicians, hey, you go sit down in that chair and you listen to me because I'm paying your wages and this is what I want. We now have accepted the point when these politicians, they're telling us what we want.
Yeah, how the heck do they know? I haven't, nobody's asked me how I feel about some of the stuff they're trying to get through. I don't know who the heck they're talking to.
I had a running battle for a long time now. It's going into the fourth year against Congressman Mike Simpson. I don't like his attitude. He doesn't like mine. Hey, we're both on the same page. What about that? But you know what? He criticized me over my criticizing the Muslim Brotherhood and the Obama administration, and basically called me and others like me a McCarthyist. And I said, Mike, you can come back on the program, but you're going to have to apologize because I proved I was right and you were wrong. That didn't carry too much weight with Mike Simpson. You haven't heard him on my program for 3.5 years.
I know. I'm with you. I don't. we really do need to clean house from the bottom to the top. These career politicians are, all they're interested in is lining their own pockets, and they forget who pays their wages.
Why? Why are we allowing this to happen? We're talking about it on the radio right now, and you know as well as you and I and others are aware of that when Lincoln Day banquets come along or other events to where the politicians, their so-called constituents are going to gather with them, why are we so afraid to walk up to them? And I'm not asking anybody to be rude or anything, but just go up to any of them, whether it's Rish or whether it's Crapo, and just say, listen, I have an issue, and I want to know why you are not following through on such and such. People are timid, and they don't want to do that.
Well, everybody is so politically correct anymore. You can't say certain things. Well, I'm sorry. I've never been accused of being politically correct. If I have an issue, I want to go directly to the person. I don't
Amen.
If I could get with Brad Little and Jim Rish and Mike Simpson, we would definitely have a conversation.
As the way it should be. Donna, thank you. Thank you for your call, and you're always welcome on this program. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You and Deanne have a wonderful day.
We will.
Enjoy your roping while you can.
I will. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, we're going to have a good word right now for the Silver State Stampede.
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, roars into the Elko County Fairgrounds July 12, 13, and 14. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro rodeo riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. Action kicks off on Friday with a delicious tri-tip dinner for just $10. Old West bronc riding, the Calcutta, mutton busting, PRCA rodeo action, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. And on Saturday, show your support with Tough Enough to Wear Pink. Then on Sunday, round up the gang for the Family Day at the fairgrounds for even more rodeo action. Get your advance tickets today at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber Office. The best family entertainment this side of the Rio Grande, the Silver State Stampede. For more information, visit them at silverstatestampede.com.
Oh, great event coming up this weekend down in Elko. Well, we made it through the first 2 hours, and we've got another hour to go. Next hour, we're going to go fishing with Josh Anderson and, of course, Sportsman's Warehouse. He's out at Salmon Dam this morning. I can't wait to talk to him. He's on a boat floating around out there at Salmon Dam, so we're going to be talking to him in about 7 minutes. And then at 10:30, we've got Karen Strawn on the air. So everybody stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be right back. Oh, good morning to you. Hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best in safe driving tires. Don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get right into it this morning. We're visiting right now on the phone with Josh Anderson with Sportsman's Warehouse at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls, and he is out at Salmon Dam fishing while I'm sitting here in the studio. Something's wrong with this picture. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Doing good, Zeb. How are you?
Well, I sit here every week on this segment called The Old Fishing Hole, sponsored by Sportsman's Warehouse, and I really start to question, I'm the dumb one because you're out having all the fun, and I'm helping promote you. Why aren't I out there fishing with you?
We need to get Reese to give you a little bit of more leeway.
Absolutely. Well, listen, what's going on at Salmon Dam? We're looking at hot weather right now, going to settle in, and we're looking at 90-degree temperatures. How does that affect fishing?
Right right now it's I think making fishing improve, but the one thing that the warmer weather's bringing, I can tell, is the algae bloom. Salmon dam here pretty quick. The water quality is pretty good right now, but I know that the fishing game just put the algae warning out here, so don't be going water skiing or bringing your pets and letting them drink the water.
Josh, why don't you take some time, and I really would like you to elaborate a little bit on this. What are the dangers of what you're talking about, algae bloom? Tell us about that.
It's just a hazardous algae that can be toxic to people and pets and stuff if you get drinking the water. It happens occasionally when the water gets warmer in a lot of these other areas where there might be runoff and irrigation and stuff from, a lot of the nitrates and that come off of the farmers' fields and gets into the water, and it just grows, like a algae-type moss.
Now, what happens, Josh, if you're out fishing and you catch a fish and pull it through that algae? Is that meat contaminated? Tell us a little bit about that.
No, the fish are safe to eat still, but you do want to, rinse them off with clean water when you get home, fillet them, and cook them all the way. But, yeah, the biggest hazard is, like, if you are out here swimming and you get water in your mouth, you can definitely get ill.
Oh, my. And it's also, like you said, very...
We're in the boat today, and we're staying out of the water for the most part.
Okay.
Trying not to fall in. We got about a 1 foot swell in the water, not quite white capping, but the wind's blowing good. I'm hoping when this weather warms up, the wind kind of settles down a little bit more.
Okay, now tell us what you're fishing for and how you plan on getting them.
Right now we've caught probably 10 or 15 small bass, and they're smallmouth bass, and we just barely hooked into a couple walleye. I got one that's probably about 3 pounds, and then we got a couple other ones that are just about 14 inches, just some little ones. One of my fishing buddies here had caught a nice trout earlier while we were just getting settled into fishing earlier this morning, but just got a little late start and got out on here and finally starting to enjoy ourselves.
Okay, so you're out in the boat, and what kind of depth are you fishing in? How deep is the water where you are right now today?
Well, we're off the shore a little ways in deeper water, but we're probably catching the fish in the majority of 12 feet deep. We're fishing right along the shoreline. You definitely could go and catch these fish from the shore. We just decided we didn't want to stumble across the rocks and run into a snake or two. We figured we'd take the boat and try to avoid it.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us a little bit about the tackle you're using for the walleye and the bass and everything. Are you using diversified different equipment or much the same?
Much the same. We're just, most of us are using an ultralight to a medium light action rod, something that will run 6 to 10 pound test, really good. Most of these rods are strung up with 6 or 8 pound tests, and, that's all we really need. We're using a jig head and a worm, swim baits, and like Rapala type crankbaits like shad wraps and stuff like that. And so far, it seems like if you keep it in the water, it doesn't matter what you have on, you're going to catch something.
And this is really...
set a few crawdad traps this morning with some Mort's minnows, which are just some of the rainbow trout that we have frozen at Sportsman's Warehouse, and bring them and baited our traps. We set them out first thing this morning before fishing so that when we get done and head back to town, we'll just pick those up and see what we end up getting in them traps.
Absolutely. Now, talk a little bit about, I want you to talk about fishing safety. You and I have not covered this in the past, but what kind of safety features or safety acknowledgments or safety equipment do fishermen, should they be aware of when they go out, maybe on a day in the boat or even from the shoreline? What kind of safety or health issues do they need to know and understand?
Well, we're being in the boat. We got life jackets for every occupant. I've got my young son here, so he has his on all the time. anybody under the age, I think, of 15 or 16, whenever the motor or the boat's under power, has got to have their life jacket on. And you got to have your safety whistle, your fire extinguisher, in case something drastically happens on the boat. But other than that, you know, I always have a first aid kit in the car, and that's, you know, for summer fishing and day trips, that's all I really usually bring for safety equipment.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier a subject that we talked about last year when you were out at Salmon Dam, and that was the snake issue. What would be, you're a professional, you know where they are, you know what they can do. What would be your warnings to fishermen climbing and clambering over the rocks?
Oh, definitely look at where you're going to put your foot before you step down. And really, if you did get bit by a snake, the best thing to do would be stay calm, keep it below your heart, and get and seek medical attention as soon as possible. And if you're in a pickle, you might just stay put and call for help. Depending on how far the walk is, you want to keep your heart rate down. Try to isolate the wound so that the venom's going to stay more locally in that area, whether you tie a tourniquet and, again, keep it below your heart. But, you know, keep your heart rate down. If you're close to the car, get to the car, call an ambulance, and meet them somewhere on your way out of town.
Okay. Now, Josh, let's say that you're going to stay out there overnight. Give us an idea as to some of the equipment that people need to have a successful fishing journey if they're going to be staying overnight. You've got everything right there at Sportsman's Warehouse.
Oh, yeah. We got your tents and your sleeping bags and your coolers and all that kind of stuff. We sell ice at the store. You know, you'd want to bring a couple extra dozen worms because, you know, right now we're about through our first 18 worms in this one cup that me and my son have. And that's probably the trick right now to make it easy is you put a half a night crawler on a jig head, and the fish just, when they finally hit it, they don't seem to let it go.
Oh, my. What?
Yes.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, no. Whereas just for camping and stuff, it's one of those you're definitely going to want sunscreen. You're going to want some shade. There's not much of it out here. There is a few canopies at Lou Drexler Park here at the dam. But the water is really high. It's only probably 5 to 8 feet from full, and there's probably not very much parking at all the other the unimproved campsites here at like Gray's Landing, Big Sandy, Norton's Bay. It's always good camping over there, but there's no shade, and right now there's very little shoreline. So if you're the first one there, you got plenty of room, but after a couple people show up, it gets pretty crowded.
Let me ask you this. What about when you and your son, and I know you have on many, many occasions gone fishing on an overnight excursion, whatever, what about some of the grills to cook up and fry all the catchings of the day? Tell us about what kind of grills you've got at Sportsman's Warehouse.
Oh, the Camp Chef is probably the most ideal cooking system that we got at the store for camping. We sell all your cast iron goods and stuff that make it a lot easier to keep your griddles hot and that. But the Camp Chef, the 2-burner stoves, they run a little over $100, and for what you're getting, they're well worth the money. We even use them at home for canning and stuff like that because we can run the multiple burners and multiple pressure cookers. And whether you're camping or you're at home, you know, doing the canning and stuff, they're just very handy propane grill to have around.
You know, another issue, or another item, I should say, that I know when I've been out fishing and I reach in my pocket and I need to cut a line or whatever and I forgot my knife or I've lost it or whatever, what about top-notch, good quality knives? Have you got quite a array of those at Sportsman's Warehouse?
Oh, we have knives of all sorts, from fillet knives to pocket knives to probably my favorite one that's come out in the last few years, and it's not that expensive, is the Havilon knives. They make fillet knives in hunting. They're kind of like a replaceable scalpel-type knife. The beauty of them is they're about $30 to $40, and they come with extra blades, and you never have a dull knife when you have one of those. And for $10, you can buy 12 more blades for them. I just recommend to the users to dispose of their used blades properly, but they are resharpenable also, because I bought an extra pack of those blades, and all my dull ones I sharpen and I put back in the little carrying case, and they're just a handy little tool to have around if you don't like sharpening your knives.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about success. You already caught some bass, and you said some walleye and some trout this morning. But in this heat, give us some of the safety precautions people need to take to make sure that the fish isn't going to spoil. What do they need to do?
Just plenty of ice in a cooler. That's really the trick to keeping everything in good shape. And then for the people out here, make sure you bring them plenty of water and sunscreen. That way we don't risk getting a heat stroke or anything like that.
All right. Well, now, any other tips you want to give our fishermen this morning that are headed out for the weekend, possibly to go to Salmon Dam? And what's biting the best? The walleye, the trout? What seems to be the most prominent?
The bass are definitely the most prominent fish that we're catching right now. The little guys just seem to tear your bait up and take you for a loop when you get in there. And it seems like every little cove or bay or point that we pull into, first 3 or 4 casts we catch, an 8 or 10 inch bass every time.
Wow.
And then it kind of slows down, and we pick up maybe a walleye or two or even a trout. So that's the cool thing about this reservoir here at Salmon Dam is it's got a variety of fish, and you put a jig head and a worm on, you hook a fish, you don't even know what you have until you see it. So you get that heart rate going, you just don't know what you have until you know it.
Give us the times that you personally will be at Sportsman's Warehouse so people, if they have questions about fishing and equipment and everything else, they can come in and talk to you.
I work Friday through Tuesday, and Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I'm there from 1 to 9 p.m., and on Saturday and Sunday, I'm there from about 7 to 3 o'clock. We open up the store from 9 to 9, except Sunday we are open 10 to 6.
I'll tell you what, folks, this man makes me so envious, and I'll tell you what, the luckiest boy in the world is your son, because he gets a chance to go out with Dad and go fishing. Does he love it as much as you do?
Oh, yeah, he might not be as ambitious as me at times when the fish aren't biting, but when the fish are biting, he enjoys it, definitely, and the time that we get to spend together is awesome.
Absolutely. Josh Anderson, a really good friend of this program on the Old Fishing Hole, sponsored by Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Josh, you go back to catching fish, I'll go back to playing radio. Have a great day, and God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
God bless you, and I hope to hear from you next week.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice man right there, Josh Anderson. What I like about that fishing report, it's not something that's canned. It's not something that's written down. It's actually happening. He was in the boat out there on Salmon Dam fishing while we get this report and catching trout and walleye, and just really a great guy. You stop in for all the equipment you need to have a successful fishing trip at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. I have time, and I would love for you to give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline, and we would love to visit with you, okay? Hurry, give me a call. While I'm waiting for your call that I'm sure is coming in, I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on over at Oakley Pioneer Days. Oh, my. They are going to kick things off this week, and I'm going to tell you something. The folks up there at Oakley with the Oakley Vigilantes, it is first class. They know how to have fun. Now, they're going to start this Friday and Saturday with the 11th annual Bump and Rub car race. This is not your normal car race. I'll tell It gets a little bit chaotic. It's going to be something to see again. So don't forget that's Friday and Saturday this weekend. And then it goes on, and they've got so many other activities all the way through the 20th, including the open rodeo and the great big huge gymkhana, fireworks, and they're going to have a grass volleyball tournament. They're going to have basketball tournaments. They're going to have chuck wagon breakfast. Oh, these people know how to eat up there in Oakley, let me tell you. And then, of course, on the 20th, the great big huge world famous Oakley Pioneer Days Parade with the theme, The Best Is Yet to Come. That starts at 11 o'clock on the 20th, along with many, many other items. Don't forget your Oakley Pioneer Days coming up starting this weekend, July 12th, all the way through the 20th. Some of the great merchants that want you to come up and enjoy what's happening in Oakley include Smith's Cafe. There is a good place to go eat. Smith's Cafe, 135 East Main in Oakley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 in the morning until all the customers are gone. Absolutely. And they make the best doggone burgers, and they've got the coldest of beer, pop, and lemonade. They say, come on up and enjoy Oakley Pioneer Days on behalf of Smith's Cafe. Let's not forget our friend also, Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke, and a rancher up there in that area. And he invites you to the 132nd year of celebrating Oakley's Pioneer Days. So please, everybody be there and go up and shake the hand of a good guy. Speaker Scott Bedke, thank you very much. All right. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Do you remember that over in New Zealand, they are going bananas over there trying to get everybody's gun? Yeah. They have a government that absolutely wants to have a gun confiscation of all the guns in New Zealand. Well, what they did was they were offering a buyback program on what they termed assault-style weapons and rifles. Here's what's happening. New Zealand has seen only a fraction of the weapons surrendered after its government passed restrictive gun control measures, including a buyback program, and they only have 1,000 guns that have been turned in, and they have been termed as prohibitive. Out of 1.2 to 1.5 million guns in New Zealand, the government said they have only got, on this buyback and confiscation program, 13,500. And so they're far, far short of what they were trying to do. And 300 gun collection events are planned. That scares me. Gun collection events are planned for the next 3 months in various locations, including large sports stadiums over in New Zealand. And authorities said they have informed registered firearm owners of the obligations, and they have received only 8,000 notifications of surrender. Good for them. Good for them. I hope none of them give up their weapons and the right to defend themselves. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, we got a moment, and I want to just say a great big shout out and howdy, just like Minnie Pearl, to Curtis and Lorena over at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. These are really, really nice people and their staff, and they are your electronics needs headquarters. I mean, my goodness sakes, they've got all the TVs, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, LG TVs. They've got them all. They've got them all. And they've got all the car stereos and the speaker systems and the complete sound systems and the home theater systems and the video surveillance cameras. Boy, those are handy little dudes to have, especially if you're out in the rural area. And they've even got HughesNet Internet. I urge you to stop in and see these good folks today at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley, open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. This is going back to that soccer thing. I feel if I purchase a ticket to go to a soccer game or a football game anymore, I am supporting a left-wing organization, and I absolutely will not do that.
I can't argue with that.
How do you feel?
No, I can't argue with that. I am not supportive of how these young women acted and have taken the left side of this issue with President Trump and this administration. I think it was very low class. I will not support anyone that does not acknowledge the fact that we should all respect the offices of the presidency, and they have not done this. As a matter of fact, they've demeaned the office of the presidency, and so therefore I have no support, and I will give them no support on this program.
Yeah, I haven't watched a football game in 2 years, and I absolutely will not watch basketball again, none. These guys are becoming nothing more than overpaid prima donnas.
Well, there's a lot of truth to what you said, but not all of them are like that. And that's where I draw a distinction. There are some good, and there are some bad, and there are some ugly in every event, everything that goes on around us. And to lump everybody into the same bowl, I can't do that because there's some good. But I do think in this case of the women's soccer team that accomplished a great feat, winning the World Cup, and then all their slanderous things that they said about the president and the presidency and our politics, and not wanting to stand, some of them, for our national anthem, I find that appalling, and I cannot support them.
And I think a lot of pressure is on the good guys in the locker rooms in football games. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. Tony, always good to hear from you, and I certainly hope you and Mary are doing well. Thank you for taking the time to call.
Okay, thank you, Zeb.
You bet, my friend. Thank you. We've got a lady coming up in just a moment that has been on our program before. She's a spokesperson for men's rights. And that's Karen Strawn. She's going to be on after the break at the bottom of the hour. And you stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch, wheels, take it away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour. This next lady that's on my program this morning has been here before. She's a spokesperson for Men's Rights Edmonton. Boy, when you hear men's rights, you better perk up and really appreciate what she's going to say. Good morning, Karen Strawn. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You're doing all right?
I am doing good, but there's so many things we could talk about this morning, but give us a little background about why you're a spokesperson for men's rights. Do we need the help?
Yeah, you do. In divorce court, when it comes to custody decisions and parental rights and things like paternity fraud and just domestic violence law, sexual assault law. There's a serious erosion of due process going on in those areas of law right now, or a continuing erosion of due process that began about 30 years ago, and who knows when it's going to stop. I think men actually do need help. They don't maybe need help in their everyday lives, but they do need help when catastrophe strikes.
Karen.
When you get the divorce papers in the mail, or you happen to get with a woman who's mentally unstable and she makes a false allegation against you out of spite or something like that. Then men definitely do need somebody in their corner. So.
And what happened? We've talked about this before, but it's been quite some time since you've been on the program. What happened to men really acting like men being the head of the household, men being the dominant figure. There's nothing wrong with that. What happened to men's personalities? I mean, have we all turned into Barney Fifes with horn-rimmed glasses and we're scared to say anything?
Well, I think, when you look at it, when you look how easy divorce is to come by these days, being the head of the household, you do that on your wife's sufferance. You do that only if she approves of that role for you, because you put your foot wrong in a marriage, and all she has to do is file for divorce, and your life is essentially, as you knew it, is over. There's no contesting it. We have no fault divorce. There does not need to be any cause for the severance of the marriage. So she can just divorce you on a whim, and generally she gets the kids, and because she gets the kids, she gets the house and half or more of the assets, and then you get to pay her for the kids for at least till they're 18, sometimes until they're 25 or 26, whenever they finish university. And you may also get to pay her alimony. In some states, you end up paying her alimony for life. You never get to retire.
Why, and I'm sounding a little naive on this, but why have the courts and society, why have they allowed this to happen? Why can't it be more of a balanced scale for the man and the wife?
Well, I think we have a natural instinct to be protective of women and to want to make sure that they're provided for and taken care of. I think that's pretty natural and understandable. I think it was Dr. Jordan Peterson, who said that, men evolved as males. Women evolved, at least their personalities evolved, not as a single individual, but as sort of the mother-child dyad, right? So this is why we lump, we even do it linguistically, women and children, women and children, women and children, right? And that's really how we look at women. We pair them up with children because we have a certain level of care for them and concern for them. This is very similar to what we have for children. And so when a man's life gets destroyed in a divorce, it's a lot harder for people to feel compassion for that. We tend to look for reasons why he maybe brought that on himself or deserved it, or what he did wrong to cause that to happen. You even see it in you watch. There was an old show on I think it was 2020 called What Would You Do, and they showed did a hidden camera thing with a woman who was just viciously attacking her boyfriend in public. She's yanking his hair and hitting him with a book, and in the middle of a public park. And 183 people walked by and did nothing, including an off-duty police officer. They did nothing, and some of them kind of went like, "You go, girl," as they walked by, and everybody, when they were interviewed afterwards, they just said, "Well, I just assumed he had done something to deserve it. Like maybe he cheated on her." That was my first thought. So, I mean, this is sort of shows a difference. You would never, ever, ever have that thought pop into your head if it was a man abusing a woman in public. You might think, suspect that maybe she cheated on him and that's why he's doing it, but you would never think of that as a justifiable excuse for a man to put his hands on a woman. And so we just have a different way of thinking about men and women when it comes to harm. And it really comes to the fore in areas where women are perceived as the victims of certain things and men are perceived as the perpetrators. So things like domestic violence and things like sexual assault, those are areas where these differences in how we are willing to treat individuals really come to the fore and really make things lopsided.
Yeah, Karen, one time I had you on the air and we were talking about this this part or segment of the problem, that when, where, and how did men all of a sudden wave the white flag and say, well, we're not going to be like John Wayne anymore, we're not going to be like Robert Mitchum anymore, we're going to just kind of be wussified and act that way, and maybe they'll leave us alone. When did men abdicate being men?
I think that there are plenty of those kinds of men still around, and in fact, they better still be around because those tend to be the kinds of men that women are attracted to. It's a very, very complex problem that men are facing these days because, there's this constant bombardment from the culture saying, being masculine in those traditionally masculine ways is bad, it's harmful, it's toxic, it's harmful to others, it's harmful to you yourself as a man. These are, really, really toxic ways of being. But that seems to be what the ladies really like. That's what gets their hearts all aflutter. And so essentially, the culture has been telling men to become something that is unattractive to women, and they're telling them to do that for women's benefit, for the sake of women, and so it's a very confusing time, particularly for young men right now, trying to navigate how they're supposed to be and behave, and think and feel and interact with women when they're getting all of these mixed signals.
Well, the mixed signals that you just referred to are unfortunately given and provided and adhered to in our school systems, our education system, and also on television 24/7, 365. Why is there such a concentrated effort to belittle and demean men for being men?
Well, I think in terms of TV shows and stuff like that, shows like Everybody Loves Raymond or The Simpsons or, where you have the bumbling dad figure and the put together, smart, sarcastic wife type of thing, right? That what you have going there is it's actually that's a matter of economics, I think. There was a comedian, and I wish I could remember his name, but I saw a little bit that he did at a comedy special once where he, comes out to the audience. He's just been introduced, and he says, I just want to say, I think women are way better than men. And, all of the women in the audience start clapping and cheering. And while he's waiting for the applause to die down, he's trying to continue on. He's like, and the reason I say that is, the reason I say that is because women really like to hear it. And then, of course, all of the men join in with the applause and the cheering and everything, and the women had a good laugh at their own vanity and all of that. But I think because women control most of the household spending, in most households, women are doing the shopping. Women are making the consumer decisions. Women are essentially, even on big-ticket items, when it comes to couples, women have about 50% or more of the say in terms of, 50% of the say in terms of buying a car, what car to buy, and then usually over 50% of the say when it comes to what house to buy. So you're looking at this enormous spending power that women have, and you also have this thing that, I think everything proves it, from advertising, sitcoms to, political pandering. They really enjoy being pandered to, right? And it makes them feel good about themselves when all of the husbands on TV are inferior to the wives. I don't know whether that's psychologically healthy for women, but it certainly does stroke their egos. And so I think that has a lot to do with those messages, about the incompetent men that you see on TV. And as far as, the idea of men as dangerous, particularly as dangerous to women, I think that's just a natural narrative that appeals to pretty much everybody, including men. It appeals to women for whatever reason. It just feels like the natural state of things, I think. And for men, it gives them a chance to essentially differentiate themselves. I'm the good man. That guy there is a bad man. I'm a good man. So, I think that there's all kinds of bizarre psychology at play right now that's sort of just all glomming together into this anti-male sentiment that we're seeing these days.
Karen, before I run out of time, I want to throw this at you, and I'm not quite sure how to phrase it. But I look at the demonization, and I'll use that word, against males on television and the media, etc., and the demoralizing of males to try to be leaders. And I think that's what we're really losing today is good leadership, because a lot of men right now are afraid to step forward. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, and it's not just that they're afraid to step forward and take a leadership role. They've been guilted into thinking that if they take a leadership role, they've stolen it from a more deserving woman. So you know, you're kind of, and then there's this thing with competition, and I think this is probably always going to be the case, just because of our evolved psychology, that when a man is competing against a woman for something, some prize, if he wins, he's a jerk. Right? But if he loses, he lost to a woman. Like, there's no status to be gained for men. There's no increase in status and respect to be gained for men by competing with a woman. Doesn't matter whether they win or lose. It's always going to reduce their standing in the eyes of the people watching. So, you know, I think it's, like I said, it's just a very, very tricky time for men to be able to navigate their way in the world. So,
wouldn't you agree, Karen, that Title IX here in the United States, that was to provide more equality for funding for women's athletics, etc., is being hurt and diminished because of the male transgenders that are trying to cross over and destroying the female teams, destroying the female athletic records? You would think more women would stand up and say, enough is enough. We're not going to stand for this.
Well, I think there are some in Connecticut right now who are suing using Title IX, you know, because they essentially said, you know, like, she came in 8th in track and field. The top 6 athletes move forward, move up, and the winners, the 2 winners, were trans women or trans girls, I guess. And so it was like she got bumped out of being able to advance because she was competing against these 2 biological males who identify as women, who have this enormous advantage. And, you know, like some of these records that have been in Connecticut in itself, because they don't even have hormone requirements. So you can have a completely male body, including male hormone levels, and still compete as a female in Connecticut. And because of this, there have been something like 10 records, just all-time records, being broken in the last year by trans women that took 10 different young women 20 years to break all of these records. And these guys did it in 1 year.
Right. We have a caller with a question quickly before I run out of time. Caller, fast. You're on the air, please.
I was just wondering what she thought about the equal pay for women. I don't know if you've touched on it yet. I don't know how we can do that. I mean, even with the men in pro football, it's taken, 40 years to get to where those guys are making millions of dollars. They didn't make near that when they started the football season. Football. So I'm just kind of wondering how she feels about it. I mean, we pay them equal. That's the fastest way to bankrupt the business,
We'll have her discuss that quickly, Karen. Go ahead.
With soccer, I think that there is room because the U.S. women's team is performing really, really well in terms of bringing in revenue. There's room to adjust their pay to more accurately reflect the amount of revenue they're bringing in. But that doesn't seem to be what they want.
There's a lot of room, actually. There is a lot more room. But in just basic sports, it's just not watched like men's sports. So there's just no way that there can be equal pay. It's like a Hollywood actor. There's no way you can pay Hollywood actors the same because Tom Cruise might bring more money than Joe Schmo. So
that's right. And so I say, I would love for them to be able to strike a deal that was flexible in terms of the revenue brought in.
Well, they're bringing in that revenue. They need to have a bonus
share of that. The pay would be based on that, and that way, when they start to suck, and Americans stop watching them because they're no longer the top team in the world, and that's probably going to happen because it's soccer, and soccer is just not that popular in the U.S. then the league won't be, or the federation won't be stuck paying them a salary that they can't afford. So I think that's probably the way to go. Yeah. But like I said, that's not what they want. They want pay exactly the same as the male team, or more, because they're the top.
That just cannot happen. I mean, it just can't.
All right, caller.
Thanks for answering my question.
Thank you very much, caller. We appreciate it. Karen, I wish I had more time. You're always interesting, and I'd love to have you back real soon. She's a spokesperson for men's rights. We better embrace her and her thoughts because we need all the help right now. Karen Strawn, thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me.
God bless. Thank you very much. Nice lady and very knowledgeable, and I'm going to have her back. We've got some other issues that we need to discuss, and I just flat ran out of time. And thank you all for your questions and comments. Let's see, where am I? Weather! Holy smokes! Wheels is sitting over there going, Zebra, you're late again. I know I am. Weather forecast right now brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Hello, Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. You better believe it. You can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com, and check out all the delicious meats. Whether it's the bratwurst, for your picnics, they make delicious bratwurst, and all the different breakfast bacons and the tri-tips and the marinated pork ribs. Oh, I'm telling you, it's delicious. All you got to do is give them a call. Stop over, 324-7657, Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast as we hit midweek, and it's going to be very warm as we make our way towards the weekend. Today we're looking at sunny skies, high of about 92. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, mid-90s, pretty much the same for Friday and for Saturday. Now, we could be hitting triple digits just depending upon where we're at in the valley. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. And, of course, again, I remind you, Don Scarrow's been with us for a long time as a weather sponsor, but I'll tell you what, they have all the fantastic meats available for you, your family picnics, your business outings, whatever. Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Believe me, they are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Scarrow's Meats. Oh, my. Oh, quickly, I want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Greystone Crossing. And this is just a great big home where residents feel a part of a family unit. Now, I tell you what, it's a 12-bedroom home, Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living on Alfresco Road. That's 21st Street for all of you. And it's over in Heyburn. It's just 1 mile east of Walmart. And they give and provide 3 meals a day, plus snacks and housekeeping and local transportation. Wow, what a comfortable, underline that word, comfortable surrounding. Greystone Crossing. Remember that and give them a call to try to set up an appointment to stop by and see the facilities. 650-4979. Now, write that number down. Matt or Kelly Wiggins at 650-4979. Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Absolutely the place for you. Holy cow, what do we got cooking tomorrow on the program? It's Thursday. We've got open hour on the first. I got to tell you, this morning at 5:30, I had a call from a man from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area that listens on the internet every day. And he was telling me about the massive problem that the St. Louis Park City Council caused by stopping the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to try to get him on the program tomorrow so we can discuss that. We've got the Chamber report. We've got interview with Burley Physical Therapy. We've got Rita Ramsey. We've got Starving to Death. We got Cache County Schools. I believe Dr. Shank is going to be with us. And also at 10:30, Dr. Paul Nathanson. So we've got some real heavy hitters coming on the program tomorrow. And we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, they are so good. Oh, they are so service-oriented. They provide for you a free pre-trip safety check. There, I said it good that time. They'll check your tires for the air pressure, wheel alignment for tire wear, front-end components, shocks and struts, battery, including a load test, brake components. They want you to drive safely wherever you go. And they've got the best of tires for your vehicles to provide that driving safety. Believe me, many of which you check on right now, you get a rebate on. So check it out on your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Talk to Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, of course the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. Really good people serving you. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow. Day goes too fast sometimes. We've accomplished a lot, covered a lot of ground. We're going to be back here again tomorrow morning at 8:06 and ride the horse for 3 hours on Zeb at the Ranch. We always say at the end of the program, the way things were are the way things ought to be, and that's really true, and the world needs more cowboys. But also, remember this, in God we trust. Hope you have a great day. And by the way, we'll be here on K-Bar 12:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then always streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. Don't miss us. Give us a call. Zeb at the Ranch. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.